We've had an unusually warm fall so far, but it's inevitable that once we get around the first part of November, we enter that season when we'll get those nighttime frosts and eventually a killing freeze. But when we have those light frosts, we need to understand what effect it has on these forage sorghum type plants, especially if we're going to run some cattle out on those fields or pastures where we've had something like some hybrid Sudans by sorghum hybrids, even Milo stalks. If that plant hasn't been killed yet by frost, but it gets affected by a light freeze to where we have some change in the metabolism of the plant, then a couple of things can happen. Number one, it may continue to accumulate nitrates out of the soil, but due to the stress of the plant, it can't convert it into protein. And so we have a buildup of nitrate after that light frost. We need to be aware of that. If we're going to utilize those plants out here to graze with cattle, then certainly we want to wait a full week after a killing freeze, one that totally kills the plant, and then let that week go by, and we should be reducing the risk of the nitrate uptake. The other side of the coin that is just as dangerous, perhaps even more so, is with that light frost, we can change the metabolism of the plant and break down the cell walls to allow the production of what's called hydrocyanic acid, and most of us just call it prussic acid. And that, when consumed in small amounts by the livestock, can be pretty deadly pretty quick. Another part of that story that we need to remember is, again, with that light frost, the top part of the plant may have been damaged, but then when we get some warm days, we'll start to have some tillering or suckering, and that regrowth is potentially some of the highest that we can have in terms of prussic acid production. So at this time of the year, if we've got some of these forage sorghum plants that we plan to graze, I certainly would suggest that we be very, very careful about running cattle out there when we might have a light frost. And if we do, stay off of those fields until that killing freeze has happened. Give ourselves a full week so that those plants totally desiccate, dry up, and are dead without any regrowth. Then we can reduce the risk of either nitrates or prussic acid poisoning. And if you'd like to learn more about those two particular maladies that we really concern ourselves with here in Oklahoma, I suggest you go to the SunUp website. That's sunup.okstate.edu. Look under show links. We've got the link to the fact sheet that discusses nitrate toxicity in livestock and prussic acid poisoning. Both of those be very, very helpful and informative for you. Hey, we look forward to visiting with you again next week on SunUp's Cow-Calf Corner.